There is a very specific comfort in watching the world from the safety of your own front door. You get to witness the chaos of life passing by without ever risking a scratch. For an 8-year-old girl named Valli, this was her entire routine. With no playmates her own age, her favorite pastime was simply standing at her threshold, absorbing the rhythm of her village street. It's a childhood habit, but adults do the exact same thing. We become armchair travelers, flipping through photos of misty, untouched paradises, like the deep rainforests of India, preferring the fantasy of the destination over the friction of actually going there. The doorway is incredibly safe. It protects you, but it also acts as a barrier, keeping you isolated from the raw, unpredictable truths of reality. If you truly want to know what the world actually feels like, you have to cross that threshold. You have to step outside, get on the bus, and pay the toll. Look at this terrain. Wedged right between the coastal town of Mangalore and the historic city of Mysore, you'll find a massive, deeply carved expanse of land known as Coorg. 30% of this entire district is choked with dense, evergreen rainforests. Brutal monsoon seasons ensure the canopy stays green year-round, feeding the heavy currents of the Kaveri River. The ecosystem here operates at maximum intensity. Massive mahasir fish fight through the surging water, wild elephants scrub themselves in the shallows, and a dense canopy crawls with langurs and macaques. An environment this intense shapes the people who live in it. Coorg is home to the Kodavus, a fiercely independent community with a deeply rooted martial legacy. Historical texts suggest they are descendants of Alexander the Great's army, or early Arab settlers. You can trace that lineage directly into their traditional dress. This long black coat and embroidered waist belt is known as the kufiya, drawing a clear line to the kufia worn by Arab and Kurdish cultures. That ancient martial pride is highly respected today. In fact, the Kodavus hold a unique legal status in modern India. They are the only community permitted to carry firearms without a license. Coorg is exploration on a massive, overwhelming scale. The sheer size of its ancient history and untamed ecology forces you to bend to its will. It is a macro journey. But if we scale all the way down, leaving the sweeping rainforests for the simple dirt paths of a small village, the mechanics of exploration remain exactly the same. To 8-year-old Valli, a quick 45-minute bus ride to the next town was a high-stakes financial mission. She spent months resisting peppermints, colorful wooden toys, and rides on the merry-go-round just to secure the 60 paise required for a round-trip ticket. Her entire focus was on this machine. This heavy metal box was the vessel that would finally carry her away from her isolated doorway. And on the outbound ride, the world delivered perfectly. She stood up on her seat, watching palm trees, green fields, and distant mountains blurring past the window in a rush of pure, uninterrupted joy. The absolute peak of this excitement came when a young cow darted right into the middle of the road. The louder the driver honked, the faster the animal galloped directly in front of them, sending Valli into fits of laughter. At this exact moment, exploration feels like a game. When you first step out of your door, you assume the world is simply there to entertain you with vibrant, joyful spectacles. Then, the bus turns around to head home. Halfway back, Valli looks out the window and sees the exact same cow. Only now, it's lying in a ditch by the side of the road, struck dead by a passing vehicle, its legs splayed out and covered in blood. The illusion instantly evaporates. The creature that was full of manic, hilarious life just 30 minutes prior is reduced to a chilling, motionless shape on the asphalt. Valli sits down. She refuses to look out the window for the rest of the trip. This is the cost of leaving the threshold. The world is not a curated museum exhibit built for your amusement. It is a fragile, indifferent, and sometimes violent ecosystem. Eventually, every journey hits the end of the line. The engine cuts out, the doors open, and you step back onto familiar ground. If you've just survived a trek through the massive, roaring canopy of Coorg, you return with your lungs full of cold air and a profound respect for the sheer scale of the wild. When Valli returns to her home, She walks through the door to find her mother and aunt casually discussing how it is impossible to ever truly know what happens in the outside world. Valli doesn't argue. She just smiles quietly to herself. We usually treat travel like a simple loop, leaving and returning to the same place. But the trajectory of a traveler tells a different story. Even when the path leads back home, the line never meets the starting point. It settles at a new coordinate, because the person walking back through the door isn't the same one who walked out. Whether you are scaling the ancient, rain-soaked peaks of the Brahmagiri Hills or simply handing 30 paise to a conductor on a local bus, the transaction is identical. You pay the toll to leave the doorway, and you never return as the person you used to be.